My name is Kim McCann. I'm a program developer here at Conner Prairie. I first started working in the Conner House in 2015, and the Conner House is the one building on our property that's in its original historical location. So it was built in 1823 by William Conner, who came to Indiana with his brother John in 1801, and out on the prairie that sits in front of the Conner House is where he conducted his business as a storekeeper, a trader, and it was in 1823, as I said, that he built the house there, and it stands today.
I'm Dave Highway. I am Hamilton County historian. Basically, this was a horrible, swampy, muddy no place until about the 1850s, until really 1851, and that's when the railroad line was put in here. Now, one of the advantages about the same time is that the county decided to improve the road that's now 116th Street. And so what they did is they actually took the horrible muddy turf and they chopped down trees and basically laid them in the road. So you had this nice road crossing the railroad track. And Selathel Fisher, the gentleman who got everything off the ground, saw this and said, hey, that's a great way to make money. 1870, they built the bridge over White River that was called Eller Bridge, that's now 116th Street Bridge, of course. And 1871, the railroad line actually got up to Michigan City. So all of these factors combined kind of said, okay, let's start a city here, or a town per se, which Mr. Fisher did, promptly died. And then what happened is that they sort of just made it up as they went along there. So at first, this wasn't really a community per se. It was quite literally Fisher's Switch or Fisher's Station. It was just sort of, okay, here's a spot in the road where you can bring your farm goods, put them on the train, and not have to worry so much about the transport. But at the same time, it did have to have some sort of community about it, and so that's why you'll see the name switches and things like that. It wasn't until really about 1891 when it was officially incorporated that they really started just calling it Fisher's at that point in time.
Walter Kelly. I was a town council president for 17 years, the last 17, and before that I was a town councilor. And my other two councilors supported me. One told me, he said, I'll always support you as council president as long as you remember about taking care of the police and fire, because he was very much active in support of that. Roy Holland, he since has passed away, and we named a park after him. And the other one who was on the council initial was Tom Weaver. And I was, to give you an idea of some of the things that would happen to me, I was driving home from work and I got a call that said, pull over because I've got sad news for you. He said, well, Tom Weaver got struck by lightning at a golf course over in Carmel. It was a sad day, and that's why we named this whole municipal complex after Tom. I moved to Fisher's in 1976 and did so because I had a realtor friend who had told me that it was a good place to get a good bargain on a house. So my wife and I drove up here, and there was just farm fields, and where the old downtown is between the railroad tracks and essentially north and south by a couple of blocks. And that was the town of Fishers, and I was in the first subdivision called Sunblessed. I developed the flag because I thought we need something to rally behind, because every other big organization, whether it be a city or a town, had a flag. Our town flag was developed, and I know you can see on what the colors stand for and why we had the arrow and why we had the scales of justice as the balance, because we want to say growth is good as long as it's balanced. Economic development's good as long as it's balanced. Housing is good as long as it's balanced.
My name is Jeremiah Follis. I teach social studies classes here at Hamilton Southeastern. Shortly after I started here in '99, we built a home here in Fishers back when it was still kind of growing. The new homes were over near like IKEA area. That was the development. It hadn't gotten this far out just yet. For years, you know, I have a video someplace I filmed driving out to the school my first day, and it was you know, 116th Street and 126th Street were two-lane country roads, right? There was not a single thing between I-69 and Oleo, you know, no Marshes and Krogers and Subways and BW3s. It was just cornfields. So that's been, you know, just different. Years ago, there was nothing out here except this school, and now we're like, you know, half a mile from Hamilton Town Center Mall and all the shops and things. Just seeing it develop and grow, and kind of as it's grown, seeing like the things they provide for the community for us to do, the recreational things, seeing the school size expand. It's just more exciting every year with the things that they're always developing. It's still as exciting, I think, as I still feel like it's still very much evolving and growing all the time.
We've lived in Fishers since 1989, which is funny. I remember when the first Marsh store opened, and we were so excited to have a close grocery store. And then we opened the gallery in 2002. So the growth we've seen is amazing. When we opened the gallery, it was a two-lane road. McDonald's was there. I remember when Target came in. There was really nothing. It was just a sleepy little town. We found a cute little house to have a business in. We had all lived in Broad Ripple before we moved to Fishers. And we needed to bring, we felt like a little art and local community together. It is amazing, all the growth. And I think about, it's really amazing that we were in business for 12 years before the town exploded, and that we survived, because business has, you know, just been awesome since all the new activity, the other new stores and restaurants and the apartments. I mean, before you'd never see anybody walking down the street. Now there's all kinds of walkers and the dogs and the concerts going on. So it's really exciting. It's really, it's just a good fit for us.
Okay, so the Geist annexation started in 2005. It was the Monday before Thanksgiving. And at the time, there was a town manager named Gary Huff. And they did a lunch press conference, and all the city council members, or town council members at that time, were standing behind them. And they announced they're going to annex the unincorporated areas of Geist Reservoir. They kind of waited about 3 years before they even did the first reading, and that gave the Geist people enough time to kind of organize, raise money, get an attorney, and eventually fought the annexation through remonstration. So on one track you had the residents of Geist fighting the annexation, which was against the town of Fishers, and on a parallel track they decided to become their own towns of Geist. And what ended up happening is they had all these people sign petitions, they spent all this money on it, and literally 3 days before the towns of Geist were filed in Hamilton County, the town council had their first reading of the annexation. And as that went to court, the judge ruled in Hamilton County, which was correct, that Fishers was first in time, which meant they were the first to claim this territory as their own versus this unincorporated area forming their own towns of Geist.
Hi, I'm Scott Fatness. I'm the current mayor here in the city of Fishers, and actually started with the city of Fishers as an intern. So in 2006, I was looking for an internship. I was in graduate school, and the town at the time, the town manager advertised for the first ever town manager internship. And so I drove up here having never been to Fishers, interviewed and got the job as an intern. From there, I interned for about a year, and then I was going to go on and move on to other places, and they offered me a full-time job in running their budget. And so I took that job, and I've always been naturally curious, I guess, so I started doing a bunch of other stuff and ended up, I've had just about every job you can think of in the town of Fishers other than being the police chief or fire chief. So I've been the interim wastewater treatment plant director, parks director, planning director, communications director, finance director, You name it, I've done every role, including assistant to the town manager, deputy town manager, and then ultimately mayor. So I'm kind of a local government geek and have sat in a lot of the chairs that many of the folks on our team have. So in 2006, I would typecast Fishers as a very, very fast-growing bedroom community. So we were growing quickly in the number of homes we were building, but that was really the level of dynamic components to the city of Fishers. We were just a lot of rooftops. What I've seen over the last decade is really a transformation from kind of a singular focused bedroom community to a very dynamic place that has anything from arts and culture to amenities to entrepreneurship and a strong and thriving business community to go alongside the traditional great place to raise a family. And I think being able to offer all of that in one place is a really unique opportunity. Oh, there's been so many bright points with the city of Fishers, whether it's cutting the ribbon on Launch Fishers, whether it's significant accomplishments in bringing in new jobs or new infrastructure improvements. Honestly, there's more than I can even recall at this moment, but the opportunity to work along so many great people and that are so energized and that so defy the stereotype of government work has really been a unique opportunity I'll always be grateful for.